Hello and welcome. How is life in Finland as an African? Is it interesting, challenging, depressing, tough, easy, sweet? Anyway, today we're going to be looking at three major challenges I faced as an African living in Finland. And having listened to some other stories from fellow Africans, I could say a lot of Africans could also relate to these same challenges. But first, I need to introduce myself. My name is Esther Ezekiel from the eastern part of Nigeria. I am married to a Finn and I'm a student here in Finland. I've lived in Finland for a little over 2 years. So let's get into a topic because I would like to keep this video very brief and straight to point. Number one on this list is social and cultural integration. So for me, this was tough. I had found myself in a very small city here in Finland because that's where my school is located. And I was literally the only black girl in that city at that time. I never saw a black person, not until about 3 months later, and they started coming in for school, So making friends was difficult. I had no friend. And being a small community, it was hard to even find people who were comfortable speaking English. Not like they couldn't try, but some Finns feel a little embarrassed if they are trying to communicate in English and they do not really know what to say. They get stuck somewhere or they struggle with this language. So at some point, they might not even want to talk to you at all. Communicating with people was hard. I remember once I tried saying hello to elder people on the street, like we do in Nigeria, where if you meet an elderly person, you could just say, "Good afternoon, ma," or "Good afternoon, sir." I once tried it during my first few weeks here and they didn't talk to me. I was snubbed completely. So I told myself this would be the last time I would ever try that. So making friends was tough. Socializing was difficult. And at some points when I started trying to even learn the Finnish language, it was hard to even find someone to practice with because you're alone. You're mostly on your own. And trust me, loneliness is a very terrible thing. You could have a lot of things going through your mind, and before you know it, depression will set in, anxiety will set in. You're thinking about getting a part-time job. You're thinking about how to learn the language. You have very few opportunities open to you because of a language barrier. So integrating into the society is usually very difficult. But it's not something that cannot be done. It is something that you get used to as time goes on. You just get used to being alone. You get used to managing yourself. You get used to being by yourself. You could even get used to talking to yourself. Number two will be racism and stereotyping. I have experienced racism in a very mild way. I have not been abused. I have not been outrightly called terrible things because of my skin color, but I have experienced what I would call subtle racism. When someone is trying to insult you, but they're trying to do it in such a way that it doesn't come off too hard. Yes. I remember once I tried complaining about the weather condition and how it is tough on me. And someone who I wasn't even speaking to, he was not even the person I was talking to, told me, "Go back to your country. This country is not for black people." I felt terrible. I felt hurt, but I just learned to deal with it. So personally, I would say Finland is very subtle with regards racism. And it's not something you cannot deal with as an African. We here in Finland that are blacks, we have learned to deal with it. We have developed thick skin, At the level I am now, I think there is nothing you can tell me about my skin shade or color or the fact that I'm African that is even going to get to me. It's not. And as long as you're not being violent, you're not attacking me, I think I'm okay, you know. So the racism and stereotyping we experience here is really something we can handle. Anyone can handle. And if you're planning to move to Finland, I bet you can learn to deal with it as well. Number three on this list is unemployment challenge. It is very tough to find a job in Finland that matches your qualification. This could be due to a language barrier or the fact that your degree is not even recognized. The Finnish educational system is quite different from what we have in Nigeria. And unless you have a master's from here or a bachelor's, you could find yourself working as a cleaner for several years. It is very possible to find, for instance, a lawyer or a doctor who is well established in Nigeria working here in Finland as a cleaner or a factory helper because of the language barrier, because of the degree type they possess. So if you are doing well and you have a white collar job in Nigeria and planning to move to Finland, I need you to understand that you might not be sitting in an office here in Finland. And in order to increase your chances of being employable here, you might need to go back to school, get a bachelor's, or do a second master's or a third master's, and also learn the Finnish language. So sometimes, even when you have the second master or the third one, or even a doctorate degree, you still might have challenges finding a job that really befits your qualification. So I would advise any African who is planning to move to Finland to study to go for courses that are very viable here with higher employable rates. Example, tech, nursing, practical nursing, marketing. Yeah, marketing, you will need some proficiency in Finnish language to increase your chances of getting a job. For nursing, it is mandatory because who are you going to care for? Dear friends, it is mandatory to learn Finnish language and Swedish. For ICT and tech, well, you guys are big boys and you can't even get a job without a B2 in Finnish language. I hope I've been able to throw a little light on some of the issues we encounter here. And until I see you next time, it is bye bye.